The breaking point. Captain Alina Reyes stood at the viewport of the Terran embassy, watching alien vessels glide through the star-speckled void around Concordat Central Station. This massive artificial world housed the headquarters of the Galactic Concordat, the ruling body that had welcomed humanity into interstellar society 7 years ago. Her reflection stared back at her, dark eyes tired, silver-streaked black hair pulled tightly into a regulation bun. As Earth's chief negotiator, she'd spent years building humanity's place among the stars. All for nothing, she now realized. The data tablet in her hand contained proof of everything she'd suspected for the past 3 years. Section Chief Morris had acquired the files at great personal risk, hacking into restricted Concordat databases. Alina scrolled through them one more time, her jaw tightening. 7 separate technology embargoes, she muttered. Resource extraction limitations, colony expansion restrictions, all specifically targeting Earth. Not just restrictions, Morris said quietly. The burly intelligence officer stood nearby, his voice barely above a whisper despite the embassy's secure protocols. The Limar and Vestani civilizations have no such limitations. The Xarani get technology transfers freely. Only humans face these barriers. Alina set the tablet down, the evidence damning. They've been containing us from the beginning. It's worse, Morris said. Page 12. She flicked to the designated section and felt her blood run cold. The Concordat Security Council had approved military intervention against Earth's most successful colony, Proxima Centauri, under the pretext of ecological violations. The real reason, stated clearly in the classified minutes, to prevent the establishment of a secondary human power base outside direct Concordat oversight. Intervention date, Alina asked. Next month. 3 dreadnoughts, full invasion force. Alina's eyes fixed on the stars beyond the viewport. Humanity had been so grateful when the Concordat ships appeared above Earth, offering friendship and technology. After centuries of wondering if we were alone, the discovery of interstellar civilization had seemed miraculous. Yet in 7 short years, humanity had grown from grateful newcomer to worrying threat. They fear us, she said. Morris nodded. Our adaptation rate exceeds any species they've encountered. We master their technologies in years rather than decades. Our colonies achieve self-sufficiency in half the projected time. Our military strategies are unpredictable by their standards. Alina thought of the 15 human colonies now established across 7 star systems, millions of lives at risk, and Earth itself, 9 billion souls who had no idea their cosmic allies viewed them as a growing problem to be managed. Your orders, Captain, Morris asked. Transmit everything to Earth Central Command. Top priority, eyes only for Admiral Chen. Then activate the Cassandra protocol. Morris' eyes widened. Cassandra, that's a worst-case contingency. And this is a worst-case scenario, Alina replied. We're not being integrated into the Concordat. We're being controlled until they decide what to do with us. The Cassandra protocol had been established 3 years earlier, when Alina first suspected the Concordat's true intentions. Named after the mythological prophet whom no one believed, it was a plan so audacious that even most of Earth's leadership considered it paranoid fantasy. But Admiral Chen had listened and prepared. 3 days later, Alina sat at the massive circular table of the Concordat High Council. 42 species were represented, their diverse biologies accommodated by specialized seating arrangements. Alina's human frame appeared fragile next to the massive Juraxians or the tentacled Vrol delegates, but she sat straight-backed and steady. High Chancellor Tezim, a tall, willowy being with luminescent skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, opened the session. The Council recognizes Ambassador Reyes of Earth with a formal petition. Alina stood, her white diplomatic uniform crisp against the rich purple of the Council chamber. Honored representatives, Earth formally requests the removal of technology transfer restrictions placed specifically on human worlds. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Additionally, she continued, We request explanation for the planned military action against our Proxima colony, which has violated no recognized statutes. The chamber erupted in shocked exclamations. Tezem's 4 eyes blinked rapidly, the equivalent of a startled gasp. "These are serious accusations, Ambassador," Tezem said once order was restored, "especially your claim of planned military operations, which is both false and concerning." "It is not false," Alina replied, activating her datapad. The chamber's central hologram flared to life, displaying the classified Concordat documents. "These records from your own Security Council prove otherwise." Ambassador Cloverian of the Juraxian Empire rose, his massive reptilian form towering over the assembly. "The human has illegally accessed restricted data. This is an act of espionage. When peaceful species face secret military actions against their colonies, they must resort to extraordinary measures," Alina replied calmly. High Chancellor Tezem's skin darkened to a deep blue, a sign of anger among his species. "These documents are taken out of context, Ambassador. The Concordat would never." "The documents speak for themselves," Alina interrupted. "For 7 years, humanity has honored every agreement, followed every regulation, and contributed to the Concordat's goals. Yet we face restrictions no other species endures." Ambassador Niltar of the ancient Vrol hegemony extended a tentacle. "Young species require guidance, Ambassador Reyes. Your rapid expansion concerns many. Humanity advances too quickly, consumes too readily, adapts too well," Alina added, "innovates too creatively, grows too independently. These are not flaws to be corrected, Ambassador. They are humanity's greatest strengths." She straightened her already perfect posture, looking around the chamber. "Earth requests equal standing among Concordat species, with all the rights and privileges thereof. We request the cancellation of the planned intervention at Proxima Centauri. We request respect." High Chancellor Tezem's voice was cold. "The Concordat will consider Earth's petition. The committee will be formed to assess." "With respect, Chancellor," Alina interrupted, "we require an answer within 3 standard days. Earth will not accept delays while military assets position themselves around our colonies." The chamber fell silent, the boldness of the demand unprecedented. "3 days is impossible," Tezem replied. "The proper procedures require at least 2 cycles to." 3 days, Alina repeated, "after which Earth will consider the silence a rejection and act accordingly." "Is that a threat, Ambassador?" growled Cloverian. Alina smiled thinly. "It is a deadline, Ambassador. Something humans are particularly good at meeting." Back in the embassy, Alina watched as Morris secured their communications with Earth. The quantum link was theoretically unbreakable, but they took no chances. "Admiral Chen confirms Cassandra is advancing on schedule," Morris reported. "But they need more time. 3 days isn't enough." Alina nodded. "I know, but it's all I could manage without arousing more suspicion. They're already watching our movements closely." The Vrol representative followed me halfway back to the embassy. "Do we even have a chance?" Morris asked. "If they decide to move against all our colonies simultaneously." "Then we'll be ready," Alina said with more confidence than she felt. "The Concordat has never faced a species like humanity. They've grown complacent, used to new members who take centuries to adapt. They don't understand what it means to evolve on a world like Earth, where adaptation isn't just beneficial, it's essential for survival." Morris studied the secured data flowing across his screen. "Evacuation preparations are underway on all colonies. The quantum fold research has been accelerated to final testing." The quantum fold drive, humanity's greatest secret. While officially adhering to Concordat technology restrictions, Earth's scientists had been quietly developing an entirely new approach to faster-than-light travel. If it worked, it would make the Concordat's controlled FTL technology obsolete. Alina's private communicator chimed. The ID showed Ambassador Selim of the Tyranny, one of the few Concordat species who had treated humans with genuine respect. Ambassador Reyes, the elderly Tyranni's voice was hushed. I speak unofficially and at great risk. The Security Council has moved up the Proxima intervention. Forces will deploy in 30 hours, not next month. Alina's blood ran cold. Why the change? Your petition frightened them. They fear you've discovered more than just the intervention plans. The decision was made moments ago. I must go. The connection ended. Alina looked at Morris. They're moving now. We're out of time. Across the solar system and beyond, humanity's colonies received encrypted messages within the hour. Operation Exodus, the contingency plan that many had trained for but few believed would be necessary, was now active. On Mars, underground hangars opened to reveal massive colony ships, built in secret over years. On Europa, families quietly packed essential belongings into regulation bags, each person limited to 20 kilograms. Everything else would be left behind. On Proxima, the colony's defense systems activated, shields powering up around vital infrastructure. And on Earth, Admiral Chen stood in the Pentagon's Secure Command Center, watching as humanity prepared for the most audacious act in its history. All colony evac prep is at stage 2, reported his executive officer. Quantum fold systems are being installed on the final transport vessels. Stealth deployments are complete around Earth and all colonies. Chen nodded, his weathered face grave. And Captain Reyes, still at the embassy. She's scheduled to address the full Concordat tomorrow. She's buying us time, Chen said quietly. Make sure it's not wasted. Elena spent the night reviewing every detail of Earth's response. The Cassandra Protocol had 3 phases: preparation, revelation, and exodus. They were deep into preparation now, with revelation, the moment humanity would show its hand. Set to begin shortly after her address to the Concordat. Elena remained perfectly still, her face betraying nothing as Tezim delivered the expected rejection. Through her earpiece, she heard Morris's voice. Concordat fleet movements detected near Proxima. 3 dreadnoughts, support vessels. Estimate 2 hours until engagement range. Tezim was still speaking. And the alleged military operation is merely a regulatory inspection force, with standard security escort. High Chancellor, Elena interrupted, her voice cutting through his practiced diplomacy. With respect, we have detected Concordat warships approaching our colony at Proxima Centauri. This goes beyond inspection. Tezim's skin flickered with blue patterns, irritation. Ambassador, you are out of order. The vessels you reference are standard security. 3 Dominion-class dreadnoughts are not standard security, Elena replied, activating her datapad. The chamber's holographic display showed real-time tracking of the Concordat fleet. These ships carry enough firepower to reduce our colony to ash. Ambassador Cloverian rose from his seat. The human continues to access restricted data. This is further proof of Earth's dangerous behavior. What's dangerous, Elena replied evenly, is deploying capital ships against a peaceful colony while denying your intentions. The chamber erupted in overlapping arguments. Elena stood calmly at the center as dozens of species debated humanity's fate. Through her earpiece, Morris provided continuous updates. Exodus preparations at 89% across all colonies. Quantum fold systems green across the primary fleet. Finally, Tezin raised his 4 arms for silence. When the chamber quieted, he addressed Elena directly. Ambassador Reyes, the Concordat has been generous with humanity. We have shared technology, opened trade routes, and provided protection. In return, we request compliance with necessary oversight. Earth's development must be carefully managed for the good of all species. Elena smiled thinly. And who decides what carefully managed means, Chancellor? Who determined that humanity alone should face technology embargoes? That our colony should be restricted while others expand freely? These matters are decided by those with the experience to understand the complex balance of interstellar relations, Tezin replied. Humanity is young, barely a century in space. The Concordat has maintained peace for 50 millennia. A peace built on control, Elena said, on the subordination of younger species to established powers. A new voice entered the debate. Ambassador Salim of the Tyranny. Ambassador Reyes raises valid concerns. My people were once subject to similar oversight. It took us 3,000 years to gain equal standing. Perhaps the Concordat should reconsider its approach to promising species. Elena nodded gratefully to the elderly Tyranny, but Tazim was unmoved. The Concordat's decision is final. Earth will remain under special supervision. The fleet deployed to Proxima Centauri will continue its mission. This session is concluded. As representatives began to rise, Elena spoke again, her voice filling the chamber. Then humanity's decision is also final. The unexpected statement froze the assembly. Every eye turned to her. For 7 years, we have acted in good faith. We have shared our art, our science, our perspective. We have contributed to Concordat projects, followed Concordat regulations, respected Concordat authority. She looked around the chamber, meeting alien gazes one by one. In return, we have been classified as a threat to be contained. Our colonies face military action. Our technology is restricted. Our future is to be decided by others. Her earpiece came alive with Morris's urgent voice. Concordat security forces are mobilizing throughout the station. They're moving toward the embassy and your position. Humanity rejects this future, Elena continued, her voice growing stronger. As of this moment, Earth and all human colonies formally withdraw from the Galactic Concordat. The chamber exploded in shock. Tezim's skin flashed chaotic patterns. This is unprecedented. Withdrawal requires a formal process of separation that takes years to. We don't have years, Chancellor, Elena interrupted. Your forces will reach Proxima in less than 2 hours. Our withdrawal is effective immediately. Clovarian's massive form rose again. This is sedition. The human must be detained. Elena smiled as security forces entered the chamber. It's too late for that, Ambassador. Much too late. She touched her comm device, activating the final signal. Across human space, Operation Exodus entered its final phase. On Proxima Centauri, Colony Governor Maya Santos stood in the command center, watching as the massive colony ships rose from hidden underground hangars. For 3 years, these vessels have been constructed in secret, disguised as mining operations and storage facilities. Evacuation progress at 75%, reported her operations chief. Final groups boarding now. Outside, streams of colonists moved in orderly lines toward the waiting ships. 10,000 people, the entire population of humanity's first extrasolar colony, preparing to abandon their homes. Concordat Fleet ETA. Santos asked. 96 minutes. Their long-range sensors will detect our launches in approximately 20 minutes. Santos nodded. Begin powering the quantum fold systems. Coordinate with Earth Command for synchronized jump. On her display, she could see similar evacuations underway across all 15 human colonies. From the mining outposts of the Tav Ceti system to the research stations orbiting Epsilon Eridani, humanity was gathering its people, abandoning infrastructure that had taken years to build. It was the most organized retreat in human history, and perhaps the most audacious act of defiance ever attempted by a spacefaring civilization. In Earth orbit, Admiral Chen watched from the bridge of the EFSA horizon as civilian transports streamed upward from every spaceport on the planet. Most Earth citizens would remain. Evacuating 9 billion people was impossible, but key scientific, cultural, and military personnel were departing to ensure humanity's knowledge wouldn't be lost if the Concordat retaliated against Earth itself. Concordat response vessels launching from their Luna base, reported his tactical officer. 4 cruisers on intercept trajectory. Chen studied the tactical display. The Concordat maintained a small diplomatic force in Earth's system, officially for ceremonial purposes, unofficially to monitor humanity's homeworld. Deploy countermeasures, Chen ordered. Stealth platforms, Alpha through Delta. Activate jamming sequence. Around Earth, previously hidden defense satellites came online, flooding Concordat sensors with false readings. The Earth fleet, over 100 vessels that had been disguised as civilian transports or resource haulers, moved into defensive positions. "Sir," his communications officer called, "we're receiving signals from Concordat vessels. They're demanding all ships return to surface immediately. They're threatening to open fire." Chen's weathered face hardened. "Push the evacuation timeline. All ships prepare for quantum fold activation on my mark, and open a channel to the Concordat vessels." When the connection was established, Chen spoke clearly. "Concordat vessels, this is Admiral Chen of Earth Defense. You are witnessing the legal withdrawal of human citizens from Concordat jurisdiction. Any hostile action will be met with appropriate force." The response was immediate. "Earth vessels, power down and return to designated spaceports. The Concordat has not authorized this mass deployment. Compliance is mandatory." Chen simply closed the channel and turned to his executive officer. "Status of the fold systems. Final calibrations complete, Admiral. All evacuation vessels report ready." Chen nodded. "Begin synchronization with colony fleets. Prepare for simultaneous fold activation." On Concordat Central Station, Alina was surrounded by security forces, their weapons trained on her. High Chancellor Tezim approached, his normally controlled demeanor cracking with anger. "What have you done, Ambassador?" he demanded. Through her earpiece, Morris continued providing updates. "All colony evacuations complete. Earth transports at 92% capacity. Concordat forces mobilizing system-wide." Elena met Tezim's four-eyed gaze calmly. "What you forced us to do, Chancellor. You left us no choice but to secure our future beyond your control." "Outside the Concordat, you have no future," Tezim replied. "No trade routes, no diplomatic protection, no access to established worlds. Your colonies cannot survive in isolation." "We're not seeking isolation," Elena said. "Just independence." Cloverian pushed through the security cordon, towering over Elena. "Where do you think you're going, human? There is nowhere in known space beyond Concordat reach." "Known space," Elena repeated with a smile. "Exactly." Her earpiece came alive with Morris's voice. "They found the embassy quantum link. I'm losing." The connection cut off. Arkin appeared beside Tezim, his expression troubled. "Elena, stop this madness. The Concordat can still negotiate. We can find a compromise." "It's too late for compromise, Arkin," she replied. "It was too late the moment the Concordat decided humanity was a threat rather than a partner." Her personal communicator chimed, the final signal. Admiral Chen's voice, broadcast on an emergency frequency that cut through the station's systems. "Ambassador Reyes, Exodus is complete. Quantum fold activation in 3 minutes." Tezim's translator struggled with his next words, his agitation breaking the device's programming. "What is quantum fold? What technology is this?" Elena straightened her uniform. "One you tried to prevent us from developing, Chancellor. One that makes your controlled FTL networks obsolete." Arkin stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Elena, please. Whatever you're planning will only bring suffering. The Concordat will interpret this as an act of war." "Not war, Arkin. Emancipation." She looked at her old friend sadly. "I hoped the Concordat would accept us as equals. I truly did." Security alarms blared throughout the station. A panicked officer rushed to Tezim, whispering urgently. The Chancellor's skin turned ashen. "Impossible," he whispered. "All of them at once." Elena knew what they were detecting. Across human space, quantum fold drives were powering up simultaneously. The technology, hidden from Concordat observers for years, created distinct energy signatures unlike anything in known science. "Ambassador Reyes," Tezim said, his voice now formal, "as High Chancellor of the Galactic Concordat, I order you to halt whatever operation you have initiated. The consequences of defiance will be severe." Elena shook her head. You still don't understand, Chancellor. For all your species' age and wisdom, you've forgotten what it means to fight for your right to exist freely. Her communicator chimed again, the 30-second warning. Elena addressed the assembled representatives one last time. The Concordat saw humanity's adaptability as a threat. You should have seen it as an opportunity. We could have been your greatest allies. Instead, you'll remember us as the ones who showed the galaxy another path is possible. A blinding flash of energy engulfed her, the personal extraction device activating. The security forces fired, but too late. Elena Reyes vanished from the Concordat chamber. In orbit around Earth, Admiral Chen watched his tactical display as the Concordat cruisers launched missiles toward the evacuation fleet. Point defense active, reported his weapons officer. Intercepting incoming fire. The space between Earth and the departing fleet lit up with defensive countermeasures. Chen's expression remained calm as he monitored the final evacuation numbers. Quantum fold systems synchronized across all vessels, announced his executive officer. Ready on your command. Chen opened a fleet-wide channel. This is Admiral Chen to all Earth vessels. Prepare for fold activation. Remember your training. Remember why we fight. He took one last look at the blue-green world below, humanity's cradle, now at risk of Concordat reprisal. Billions remained behind, but the seeds of human civilization, millions of citizens spread across hundreds of ships, were about to make history. Activate quantum fold drives, Chen ordered. Take us beyond their reach. Across human space, from Earth to the farthest colony, the revolutionary drive systems engaged simultaneously. The physics behind the technology were elegant but radical. Instead of traveling through space like conventional FTL drives, the quantum fold temporarily shifted vessels into a parallel dimensional state before returning them to normal space at their destination. The effect, to outside observers, was instantaneous disappearance. On the bridge of the Concordat dreadnought Indomitable, approaching Proxima Centauri, Commander Zeraxis watched in disbelief as his sensor officer reported the impossible. All human life signs on the planet have vanished. All ships in orbit, gone. Zeraxis checked the readings himself. Scan again. They must have deployed some countermeasure. Scanning. Nothing, Commander. The colony is completely deserted. Structures remain intact, but no life forms detected. Similar reports flooded in from across human space, at every human colony, every outpost, every mining facility. Structures remained, but all humans and their key vessels had simply disappeared. From his command center on Concordat Central, Tizin watched the reports with growing horror. An entire species, millions of individuals across 16 star systems, had vanished simultaneously, using technology the Concordat had never detected. The dimensional readings match nothing in our scientific database, reported the Concordat's chief scientist. Whatever method they used to transport themselves, it's beyond our current understanding. Arkin stood at the edge of the command center, his expression unreadable as he stared at the display showing Earth, still present, still populated with billions, but now missing its fleet and much of its leadership. Where did they go? Tezim demanded. There is nowhere in charted space they could hide. Perhaps that's the point, Chancellor, Arkin said quietly. They went beyond charted space. Tezim turned to him. Impossible. No species would abandon known territories for uncharted void. No species except humans, Arkin replied. They chose uncertainty and freedom over security and subjugation, a choice you never gave them. As the Concordat leadership struggled to understand the magnitude of what had happened, a final message appeared on their primary communication system, broadcast simultaneously to every Concordat world and vessel. To the Galactic Concordat, from the people of Earth and her colonies. Today we choose a new path, one beyond your control and beyond your reach. We leave behind structures and resources, but take with us what truly matters: our people, our knowledge, our freedom to determine our own destiny. We do not depart as enemies, but as a reminder that true civilization cannot be built on control and fear. When you are ready for genuine partnership between equals, look to the stars beyond your maps. Humanity will be waiting. Captain Alina Reyes, former Earth ambassador to the Concordat. 300 light-years beyond Concordat-charted space, in an unremarkable star system with a yellow-orange sun, hundreds of ships emerged simultaneously from quantum transit. On the bridge of the ES horizon, Admiral Chen watched as the fleet regrouped in orbit around a blue-green world, remarkably similar to Earth, but untouched by sentient life. A small transport vessel docked with the flagship, and minutes later, Captain Alina Reyes stepped onto the bridge. Her diplomatic uniform was gone, replaced by standard Earth fleet attire. "Admiral," she greeted Chen. "The exodus was successful." He nodded. "All ships accounted for. All colonies evacuated. Early reports indicate minimal casualties during the operation." Alina moved to the viewport, staring at the pristine world below. "They'll come looking for us eventually. By then, we'll be established across dozens of systems," Chen replied. "The quantum network is already mapping additional habitable worlds within range. And we'll be ready for them," Alina said. "Not as subjects, but as equals." As humanity's fleet began the process of establishing a new civilization beyond Concordat reach, Alina thought of Arkan and the look on his face when she disappeared from the chamber. Confusion, yes, but also something else. Respect, perhaps. Understanding. "Begin landing operations," Chen ordered his officers. "We have a new world to build." Below, the planet waited, a fresh start for a species that had refused to be contained. Humanity's greatest journey was just beginning.